Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we do here is fire. You guys know the drill. I'm your host, Zack Jackson, here with my co-host,
Matthew Abdenor.
and we are the Fire Sports Pod, and we're about to get on to our show. We cannot go on TikTok Live, sadly, because we got banned last night for some bullshit. We're watching the NBA Finals. We had about 372 total viewers on the live, as well as we had 70 people total staying tuned in as the most. We're consistently with about 20 to 25 viewers. And then out of nowhere, they said gambling violations. And the community guidelines shut down our live. So we had to go on Instagram Live, and we had basically nobody there. Was not the same. Killed the mood. So we're not on TikTok Live. We will not be on TikTok Live until Sunday, June 9th. That'll be my next time I will go on live. So I'll see you guys on there. But we had a great time. We're going to be going over the NBA Finals for our first segment. After that, we're going to be going into some Monster Truck. And as you can see, Matt has a Monster Jam hat on. We're going to be going over that because he just went to the event, I think it was last week, right, on Sunday?
Yep.
At MetLife. So we're going to be going over that. And then just at the end, briefly, we'll go over the NHL Stanley Cup Finals series, which starts tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday. So we'll be going over that. So those are the three segments, guys. And we're going to kick off our show with the NBA Finals because what a fucking doomsday it was for the Celtics. They absolutely demolished the Mavericks. It was not even – it was
not a pretty game.
It was a boring-ass game.
Everybody was boxed. Celtics played. Porzingis played phenomenal.
Yeah, King. What's your thing? Tingus Pingus.
Tingus Pingus.
Tingus Pingus.
That was Michael Rappaport that gave him that name.
Tingus Pingus went off. Tingus Pingus wanted all the smoke, and he got it. He got 20 points. He had 3 blocks coming off the bench. He gave the spark to them. It was only the first half, but man, did he give them a spark. They were up by as many as 27 in this game. They only won by 18. This game in the third quarter with about 8 minutes left was a 70. It was like 67 to 74. It was an 8 to 7 point game. And then Porzingis gets a dunk. They get a 3 and they go on a freaking 15-0 run. And they go back up by 21 to enter the fourth quarter. And then that was pretty much it. Kyrie Irving did not have the greatest day. Offensively, was just missing baskets in and out, left and right, turning the ball over his foot. Bad passing, just wasn't the day. Luka's 30 points that he had, double-double, just didn't even feel like he scored 30 because he was the only one scoring the basketball. There was no movement. They had career low, and I think a team low this season of 9 assists in a game. That is ridiculous. Luka only had 1 assist this whole.
Kyrie had the most assists with only 2.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Luka usually averages almost 10 assists a game, and he only had 1. So that just shows Luka was not on his game early. It needed him a while to get to the flow. But in the third quarter, man, it looked like he couldn't miss, and it was like, oh, shit. But there was no contribution from anybody else, not even Kyrie. And that's the reason why they lost. Luka can't do it all by himself. And they said it. Kendrick Perkins said it. Everybody said it on the NBA to go. Tatum does not have to be all-world. He just has to be put in the right situations and do the right things. And if he does that, everything will be okay. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't shoot the ball well, but he had 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's all you need. Brown had 22. Porzingis had 20. Holiday had to give him another 15. Al Horford had a couple big buckets down the stretch. And they demolished them 107 to 89. So
Derek White with 15 too.
Yeah, Derek White. I mean, he's been the heart and soul.
He's been an X factor. In Dallas, no one had more than 14 points on the Dallas team other than Luka. 30.
Yep, 30 and a double-double.
Kyrie had 12 points, shot 6 and 19, and 0-5 from 3.
Yeah, he shot pretty bad.
I mean, I seen in the last night in the post-game press that he said he thought the crowd was going to be a little bit louder.
Yeah, well,
I'm not going to lie. The crowd looks like it kind of got to you.
Yeah, you turned the ball over off your foot. You threw a bad pass. The guy wasn't even there, and you shot 0 for 5 from 3 and 6 of 16 from the field.
Luca and him combined for 7 turnovers total.
Yeah, that's not.
They were minus 19 in the plus minus for Kyrie, and Luca was minus 10. Luca shot almost 30 shots. He shot 12 of 26.
Jesus.
4 of 12 from 3, and he missed 3 free throws. Went 2 of 5 from the free throw line.
Yeah, you can look at Derek Lively and freaking PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr. They shot horrible.
4 of 8 from the field for Jay Hardy. I mean, it just was not a pretty game for the Dallas Mavericks bench.
No, they got no help from the bench at all. And their defense wasn't that bad. They only gave up
Porzingis came off the
points.
bench and had 20 and 3 blocks, which is absurd.
But if you look at it, Matt, their defense wasn't that bad. They only gave up 107 points. That's not a bad outing. It's just the way
it's the way they played on offense.
Yeah, it's also the way they gave it up on defense. I mean, look at the way Boston shot the basketball. Yeah,
they give the ball back every time. You know, it was downhill every time.
What I tell you on Wednesday, I said second chance points, second chance opportunity was key. There was no boxing out.
Al Horford and Porzingis in the paint.
Kingus Pingus.
You know, that's tough to rebound.
Not to mention you have a couple other guys that can rebound. Tatum, Brown, physical guys. Holiday was big defensively. He was wrapping up Kyrie Irving. Jaylen Brown defensively was a tank last night. He came to play big time. Like I said, if the Celtics play like this, they'll win this series. If the Celtics get away from it in game 2, but I believe everything in my heart says Luka and Kyrie are going to answer big time in game 2, especially Kyrie. He only had 12 points. He's going to come out hot. He's going to come out blazing speed. I like how he kept the ball after the game. Probably was dribbling it all the way to the press conference, trying to get the feel of the basketball back in him. Remember, they also did have 10 days off. That's a long time off from playing basketball. I mean, obviously, you work out, you train, you practice, but it's a long time without game action. They're not used to that because the playoffs up until the finals are pretty much every day. Even the next series starts in like 2 days. It's not a 10-day layoff. And both teams, one in 5, the other one in a sweep. So both teams had the similar days off. So 10 days off and you're away, got to go to Boston, hostile environment. Sometimes that doesn't do well. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, rest is great. Yeah, rest is great. But when you're playing against the Boston Celtics at the TD Garden on a 10 days rest, having played an organized basketball game, it's going to take a toll on you, and that showed. They just did not come to prepare. They didn't show up. And that's it. They didn't show up at all, and they didn't deserve to win that game. Even if they did win the game, they would have been a luck. So I'm happy they didn't win that game. But like I said earlier, I was going to pick the Celtics to win game 1 because I kind of figured they were going to come out and blast them. But I still went with the Mavericks, of course, because I want the Mavericks to win. But I had a feeling Celtics going to win this game. Game 2 has got to be Dallas. If Dallas does not get game 2.
That's what I said to you. I said to you that Dallas has to take a game.
Yeah, they got to get game 2 now. Now it's a must. They got to get game 2. If they don't get game 2, it's going to be very tough to beat them 2-0 at Dallas and then go back. Because
there's a lot of pressure on Dallas right now.
Yeah, they don't win this game, then they got to win 2 straight at Dallas. And if they split it, they're down 3-1 going back to TD, where Boston can close it out on their home floor and win their first championship in decades, as well as put up the 18th banner, which is the most in NBA history, passing the Los Angeles Lakers. So that would be something to do it on their home court. So if they had got the shot.
You guys are tied, right, at 17?
Yeah. Yeah, so they will pass my Lakers for a championship. We can also talk about Dan Hurley. That's a big one.
Oh, yes, we can.
Let's actually talk about that.
Dan Hurley, just recently, the Uconn Huskies head coach, was just offered a huge job opportunity to coach the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. This was groundbreaking news. There was a little Woj Shams war going on X Twitter. Shams was reporting originally that JJ Redick was closing in on a deal with the Los Angeles Lakers' new head coach position, but that does not seem to be the case with Woj. Woj dropped a bomb yesterday morning around 9-10 in the morning saying that Dan Hurley was just recently offered the job, not JJ Redick, the former basketball player and now podcaster also. So very interesting to see if a college basketball coach with a chance to three-peat with the Uconn Huskies, or he gets the opportunity of a lifetime to coach LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. He's got a big decision to make. And I've seen the reports that he's meeting with them, I believe, today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's something, man. As a Lakers fan, I would love to see Dan Hurley with the Lakers because I think that will unlock. I know Stephen A. Smith said, whatever. Yeah, well, Stephen A. Smith says a lot of things that aren't true or don't happen, so you can't always listen to Stephen A. Smith. Coming from a Lakers fan that always watches the Lakers and have been watching the Lakers for years and years and years, this is the best coaching opportunity we've had since, I'm going to go on the limb, since Phil Jackson. You could say Frank Vogel, cool. He did shit. There was nothing you could be coached in the bubble. The bubble was more of a street ball. It was basically more of just basketball. It was just straight basketball. There was no schemes. There was no plays. It was just basketball. That's why a lot of teams didn't want to be there because it wasn't like it wasn't coaching. There wasn't a crowd. It was just straight up basketball by yourself. It was just 5-on-5, couple guys coming off the bench, and you're playing basketball. Which is, to be honest, if I'm there, I would love that because it's the ultimate pickup game. Basically, you're just winning, going for a championship. It's the ultimate pickup game because people say it's a Mickey Mouse win for the Lakers, but I say it's the best pickup games you'll ever see. There's no crowd, there's no this, there's no that, no distractions. It's just you and the other team. That's it. So I think it was better than ever being in that bubble, if I would say. And people don't realize how hard it is to play without a crowd and your family and this, that, and that, and the other thing. But get back onto it. I think, this is the best coaching opportunity we've had since Phil Jackson. I love J.J. Redick. I think he'll do an amazing job with the Lakers. But again, I think that having J.J. Redick and LeBron James together will do wonders. But at the same time, will J.J. Redick push Anthony Davis? Will J.J. Redick push the young stars? Will J.J. Redick push Bronny James? Will J.J. Redick push Anthony Davis to be that dominant that he was this year? I don't think so. I think if J.J. Redick gets there, it's more of like, all right, it's LeBron. It's calling the shots. J.J. Redick agrees. J.J. Redick says something. Okay, yeah, I like that. LeBron says, and then they just do it. It's kind of not like a coach player. It's more of a coach player / coach.
Hey, Zack, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
You made a point about the pickup games with the bubble, right? I want to kind of look back to that real quick. You're right. It was different. You want to know another reason why it was different? Why it made such a huge difference? The shot perception. They were in a gym. They were not in a basketball arena.
That too. Yeah.
So when you shoot on a basketball hoop in an arena versus a gym, your shot visibility, your shot perception and visibility of where the hoop is going to be very different. Because there's open space behind the hoop. There's no wall. So having a wall there means it's more of a secure visibility. You can focus on your target better versus you see a hoop and then you just see open space around that. Because I've worked in a venue. I've been on Madison Square Garden court, and I can tell you that it's different and it feels weird. That when it messes with your head.
Yeah.
So these guys got more confidence in the bubble.
Yeah. And you saw that because TJ Warren going over 50
points.
Jamal Murray playing amazing. Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, the shots just were ridiculous on how they were making those shots. LeBron, Anthony Davis was shooting the best he's ever shot he was shooting great the whole season, but he was shooting ridiculously well in the bubble. But it's also the same thing for basketball when you play outside. If you realize if you play outside on a blacktop, right, in a big park, sometimes it's like, man, I thought that was going in. Then you go to the gym and then you shoot it. Oh, that went in. Why did the one over there? And you made a great point, Matt, when it comes to visibility, because you're worried about other things behind it. When you just see a wall, you know that it's not going anywhere other than that. It's not going to
go anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll hit the wall and you'll get it back.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. But just people, just like we both said, I think people underestimate how hard it was. and how crazy fun it could be to play in the bubble situation as a basketball player. And if you are playing in the NBA, I think it's the ultimate way to test your skills, because that's really to show, like, you know how they play those pickup games in those little gyms and stuff like that. You see them going crazy, shooting, dunking, all this. The passing is ridiculous. But then you see when it's a big arena with a bunch of fans and whatever, sometimes the best shooters don't really shoot that well sometimes because they're worried about so many other things instead of just worrying about playing basketball and the hoop. So definitely agree with that. But I think Dan Hurley's going to do wonders for us. Like I said, for the last couple of times, I think he's the best coaching opportunity we've had since Phil Jackson. I mean it. And if anybody has anything else to say, go through all the fucking coaches that have been with the Lakers, and I'm telling you, there's nobody else that has the resume and will have the longevity as well as the leadership to get the Lakers where they're supposed to be, which is back on a pedestal, winning and competing for championships. That's how it's got to be. None of this one-and-done coaching bullshit with Darvin Ham, Frank Vogel, and all the guys that came before them. This is the best opportunity. We got to go all in on this. Now, if we don't get Dan Hurley, JJ Redick is a perfect replacement. I just don't think that we be winning a championship first, second year. It's going to take time for him to adapt and understand the coaching scheme of things. But he's got a great mind. He's a great talent. He was one of the best sharpshooters and scheme offensive players in the league for a decade or so, JJ Redick. So I think it'll be pretty fun to see how LeBron, JJ Redick, and Anthony Davis pair up as a coach and two players. But it would be great to have Dan Hurley. But the question is, will he leave UConn? We both agree. I don't know. I think you say no. I'm on the fence of yes, because it's the biggest coaching opportunity he'll have in his career. And you never know down the line, will he want to do it ever again because he's spent so much in college, or will there be an opportunity for him to be in the NBA after all that time? So you got to also weigh those factors in. There might not be an opportunity down the line 2-3 years from now to get that job in LA because we'll have a JJ Redick. And let's say he does win a championship, he ain't going anywhere for a while. So I just think that if Dan Hurley's available, we got to go get him. If he doesn't want to leave, then obviously he's going for the three-peat with UConn, and obviously they can run it back because their team is just still stacked. There's not a lot of teams. I know you hate it.
I can't stand them.
But you respect the shit out of it.
I
So
respect
that's
it.
why that's what matters. So as long as you respect it and understand that that's greatness right there. But if they do a three-peat, man, then you just see this guy.
Dan Hurley's a Jersey boy.
Yeah. But he could coach, man. His schemes on offense and defensively are tremendous. It's ridiculous how great he is.
Anything else?
But yeah, that's pretty much it. We went into some Dan Hurley talk with the Los Angeles Lakers coaching. We also went into the NBA Finals and how that matchup has been going through. I'm gonna just end the show with two more segments. We're gonna just talk a quick couple minutes about the Monster Jam and then the NHL. Which one do you want to do first? You want to do the Monster Jam, get that out of the way, and then we hit the NHL at the end?
Do that real quick.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna let Matt take the reins here because I used to be a Monster Jam guy. I haven't watched it and haven't been to some thing in a while. He just went. He's got a whole collection trying to sell and trying to stuff of it when he was a childhood. So I'll let him take the reins here because if he got questions for me, I'm here to answer. But it's all him for now.
Yeah, so, I grew up with Monster Jam, since I was a kid, it was something that just always made me happy. It was just really cool to me. It was exciting, and I always got my blood pumping, and the noise never bothered me even as a 2-year-old. So my parents always said, like, I've always just had a knack for it, and I recently just went back and kind of revisited and also started up my collection again. I went to the event, MetLife Stadium, for the summer tour that they're doing now. That's what they call it. When I used to go, it used to be called the Path of Destruction Tour. I'm sure some of you remember it very, very vaguely if you've been in the Boston, Philadelphia, New Jersey area, New York areas, and are a fan also. I went and I had a great time. I'm an avid Gravedigger fan. Dennis Anderson is my GOAT. He's my greatest of all time. I know Tom Mentz has the most world championships with Maximum Destruction. I know what the comments will say, but Digger's my GOAT. And Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, a.k.a. Dennis Anderson's son, actually went up against his his brother and other son, Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger, in the semifinals at East Rutherford, and I got to witness that live, and it was quite epic, I have to say. It was these two guys faced off head to head. Gravedigger and Adam Anderson won the racing championship. Ryan Anderson won the skills championship. Be quiet! Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, for the interruption.
You're good.
What was I saying? Son of a Digger, yes.
That's it.
Sorry.
You good. Don't worry about it.
I had to send a text, sorry.
No, you good. Don't worry about it.
Ryan Anderson won the skills championship. That's where I was at, I believe.
Yeah.
El Toro Loco ended up winning the freestyle championship. The freestyling show was kind of, I would say, weaker. I don't like the new Monster Jam with the safety officials shutting down these trucks with the RIR. If you guys don't know what an RIR is, or an RII is, it's a remote ignition interrupter. It's basically what a safety official has. It's a signal to shut off a monster truck. A signal gets sent out, and basically the entire truck shuts down for safety reasons if they deem something to be unsafe. These are hot rod officials, I believe, is what they're associated with, and that's basically how that works. And I had a good time. I just think ever since COVID happened, I think they took a huge hit, and I think that there are things that they can improve on. Because peak Monster Jam was definitely from the early 2000s to probably 2012, 2013, 2014-ish. Like, that was the peak years. Monster Jam needs that, razzle-dazzle again. So, I'm looking for that the next time I go to an event.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. We might be getting some. Those of you, we were talking about the tickets, right? They were like $100 or something, shit like that.
Yeah, I got good seats. That's why.
All right, cool. Well, so yeah, that's a little bit synopsis of what's happening in Monster Jam and how Matt has been taking it since he was a childhood, and now he's continuing the memory of it again and starting it up. He's got his own collection. I've seen it personally. It's a lot of trucks. Holy shit! He's at nighttime at like 2 a.m. trying to fix them up and paint them. It's pretty cool. His dedication shows through, definitely. So I like that. But we're gonna move on to our last segment here, and the next 3 minutes are gonna end our show, cap it off at 25, 26 minutes. We're gonna be going over the NHL Stanley Cup Finals between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers, because now, in more than ever, it is almost done, ladies and gentlemen. The NBA Finals Game 1 just finished. Stanley Cup Finals will be tomorrow. And once those are done, we will have only MLB baseball to worry about.
Yep.
So, the WNBA is still going on too. So we got that as well. And then we got the Paris Olympics. So we got a couple things during the summer, which is great. But man, the big main sports are going to be out for a couple months until we hit September and October, and then everything starts up again. It's just the cycle. It's the cycle of sports. But right here we have some news. After some sensational action throughout the NHL postseason, the Stanley Cup Finals is officially set in stone. The Florida Panthers will be the Eastern Conference representatives, while the Edmonton Oilers have come out of the Western Conference for the Stanley Cup Final beginning Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Panthers played like a number one seed throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs and defeated the New York Rangers, my New York Rangers, in 6 games to win the Eastern Conference Final. Florida will now play for a Stanley Cup for the second consecutive season. I'm sorry, but I am going to brag about this a little bit. I was the only one last year, other than Panthers fans, to say that the Panthers were going to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, or at least compete in the Eastern Conference Finals. I was the only one that said they were going to come back from a 3-1 deficit to the Boston Bruins, the number one team, had the best record in the NHL last season, and they did. I was the one that said they were going to give the Vegas Knights some tough stones for Vegas to win that series, and they did. They did eventually lose, but Vegas, man, they had to fight every game in that series. And then look what I said. I said they were going to be back in the Eastern Conference Finals, if not the Stanley Cup Finals, competing for a championship again this year. And look where they are now. They beat my Rangers. Best of luck to them. They played better. They wanted it more. And they are now in the Stanley Cup Finals where they can finally host up a championship again. Now, Florida will now play for a Stanley Cup for the second consecutive season. Meanwhile, the Oilers reached the Stanley Cup Final after topping the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final. This marks the first time in Connor McDavid's career Edmonton will play for the Lord Stanley's Cup. So that is crazy. Connor McDavid's first ever Stanley Cup chance to win it. And could it be this year? It's going to be tough. They got to play well. But the only person in this world that probably can beat the Panthers by himself would probably be Connor McDavid and his backup with the Oilers, because this Oilers team is offensively and defensively is pretty good. But the Panthers, man, they just play as a team, and they're great defensively. It's going to be a tough battle for both the Panthers and the Oilers, whoever wants to get a win for the Stanley Cup. But, man, it is going to be fireworks left and right, so do not miss it. I would love to go on live tomorrow since I don't have any tournaments, but I can't because I got banned for some dumb bullshit. So it is what it is. But we'll be going live on Sunday. I'll be back from my games at like 6:30 on Sunday, so I'm hoping to catch some part of the beginning of the finals and stuff like that. Maybe go live. Let's just hope that we don't get banned again. But other than that, Matt, anything else you got to say before we jump off our show here today on the Fire Sports Pod?
Good for today.
All right, cool. Good. So we are on Season 3, Episode 29 was this episode. We are almost at Season 3, Episode 30. We'll be on Recap Monday this coming Monday. We will have special guests on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We will be keeping it to a surprise. You'll get to know who's going to be on this show for those 3 days when it happens. But I appreciate all the support, guys. We're at 1,090 followers. We're at 111 subscribers for YouTube and TikTok. Instagram 125. Just keep going with that, guys. Keep giving those likes, those shares, those follows, subscribes. Just keep on commenting. And just let's talk some sports, man. I'm here. We're both here, actually, I should say, to talk some sports. And we love what we do, man. We dedicate our lives to sports, and this is what we want to do for our careers. He wants to be a sports agent. I want to be a podcaster / sports broadcaster and a coach, and still hopefully play basketball. So that's what we do, man. This is all we do, right, Matt? This is all we do in our life.
Yep.
It's all we do. We've done for the last 20 years of our lives. Just sports. So we're going to just keep doing that until we die. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
But here on Season 3, Episode 29 on the Fire Sports Pod, powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard is the dream yard. This is the best streaming platform out there. Better get it, because once they start getting big time, they're going to start paying. It's free right now. It's better than Zoom. It's better than all that shit. Get StreamYard because that makes the dream yard. But other than that, guys, I'm your host, Zack Jackson, with my co-host.
Matthew.
And, my bad.
No, you're good. Matthew Abdiner.
And we are the Fire Sports Pod team, and I will catch you guys on Recap Monday on Monday, Season 3, Episode 30. Peace out, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you guys on Sunday for our TikTok Live. Don't forget to check it out. Peace out, guys.
Take care.